Greetings once again to the Biblical Hermeneutics class here at Southeastern University. This is your instructor, Dr. Larry Asplund, coming to you. Can you believe our course is halfway through? I wanted to be able to stop by at the end of week 4 and welcome you to week 5 and module 5, and that means part 2, of course, in our class. And we're definitely heading toward the finish line as we begin to think about what we have to do this coming week. So welcome to Module 5 here in the summer of 2022. Our Module 5 theme is learning to craft a detailed analysis. So that simply means we're going for additional details beyond what you have already been doing in your various drafts. So we're just kind of adding pieces as we go along week by week. The aim for Module 5, once again, includes a really excellent written introduction for you that summarizes everything that we are doing in this week. And then we have these important learning objectives. Number 1, to identify the method of completing a detailed analysis of the text. So that means we are moving from basic kind of contextual analyses to some of those details this coming week. Number 2, to recognize that different genres exist in biblical literature and to begin to explore the unique considerations of each genre. As you know, a genre is simply a literary style, a form of some kind. And because you're working in Ephesians, that means the genre of letters or of epistles. It's what's relevant to us in this class specifically. Number 3, to identify key questions to be asked and researched for New Testament letters, and of course that includes Ephesians. Number 4, to discuss the findings and particularities when conducting a detailed analysis for the exegetical paper, and that will relate specifically to your chosen passage. So you will have the opportunity to share and to discuss some of the unique findings that you discovered when you began to unpack some of the details of your passage. And then finally, number 5, to draft the detailed analysis for an exegetical paper. Once again, this is only going to be one page written in narrative form, but it adds some details to what you have been doing already. In terms of the resources available to you this week, we have several videos. We have 2 videos, a part 1 and a part 2 for the Bible in different cultures. Once again, very helpful. And then we have a video called Paul's Political Theology of the Church. And you know, Paul had to write his letters in the context of the Roman Empire that had some claims upon their Christian faith. They needed to be clear where they stood. There's a video called What are the Biblical Genres and How Do They Affect Preaching? A very practical application of that idea. Then, of course, your textbooks. Please read chapter 14 in Scott this coming week. Chapter 6 in Gorman. Once again, Gorman's text is particularly relevant to assignments this week. And then you will review the presentation called New Testament Letters. So that begins to get very specific in terms of its relevance to your chosen passage. The graded assignments, then, of course, we have another discussion forum, and this is kind of after you've been doing some unpacking, further detailed unpacking of your chosen passage. You will discuss what you found to be particularly unique or interesting, some of the particularities, some of the details that you uncovered, and what you found to be of special interest to you. And then you'll be able to share those, but also to discuss and interact with other students in terms of what they found as well. There's another quiz, of course, a typical open book, open notes, 10-question quiz with a 30-minute limit, kind of just a general summary. A couple of you have already begun to work ahead when it comes to the quizzes, and that's fine. It's really a review opportunity for you toward the end of your assignments for the week. So here's the big assignment, of course, a detailed analysis, rough draft. There are some helpful background documents provided to you. There's the specific instructions that you will definitely want to have in front of you as you write for your detailed analysis rough draft. There's also the exegetical paper guidelines. And back at the beginning of the class, there was a whole section called Course Resources and Materials that included even a sample exegetical paper. So I don't think it's too early for you to begin to review some of those additional resources. I think they will be very, very helpful for you as you begin to picture in your mind what your final exegetical paper will look like. There is a link I found that is a broken link on our online course, the 1-2 Exegesis Paper Assignment Tools and Helps. But I honestly think the course resources and materials link will give you everything that you could possibly want to need to complete this assignment. So there are several details then that you should give attention to when you write your draft this week. Of course, the historical contextual analysis, the relevance to your passage, so you're going to kind of follow up on some work you've already done. You want to be able to read and compare your passage from at least 2 translations. Without knowing Greek, I think that's the very best thing you can do in terms of analyzing the language. You want to be able to identify at least one key word, and there's a reference to our text from Gorman, pages 105 to 111 at that point. And then also the meaning of each key word in its context. Remember, this is not a word study per se, but it's rather an exegetical narrative. You'll want to look then at the literary form and the various literary expressions, whatever they might be, metaphors, etc., in your chosen passage, as well as the grammatical structure. Please consult a minimum of 3 commentaries and 1 journal, so you can see it's kind of expanding in the direction of your exegetical paper. And then address specific theological issues. And I think it's good to be able to have in your mind both Old and New Testament when you look at some of those theological issues. This draft should not cover your entire passage, but just 1 or 2 verses from your passage, which means that when you actually write your exegetical paper, it's going to have this kind of detail for all the verses in your chosen passage. It's a narrative rough draft as always, which means it's going to be pretty easy to just integrate into your exegetical paper at the end. So doing a detailed analysis is so very, very good. Ultimately, that's what you're after. In order to be able to do a thorough exegesis of your chosen passage, it's important to be able to take apart all of the details. And so we're adding some of those important details this coming week as we work together on another rough draft, another page that will definitely be relevant to what you will finally produce, as well as the opportunity to be able to share and to discuss together some of those details. So it's going to be another very important week. I'm enjoying grading. It's my way of really participating with you, grading your specific assignments. If you feel like you have maybe gotten behind a little bit, go ahead and jump in. I can see you. I really look every day to see whether or not anything new has been posted so that I can grade it and provide you feedback. So feel free to jump in. Don't get too far behind, or it will be very difficult in the end to produce a good exegetical paper. So let me know how I can help you if you run into a snag along the way. If you have a question, I'm certainly here to serve you, and it's my honor to do so. So God bless you, everybody. Just have a wonderful week 5.